What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the off-season physique update from the king of the 212 class, Keone Pearson. So Patrick Tour, Keone's coach, he is labeling this as the project of making the best bodybuilder in the world. And not for a second are we doubting that claim. So these guys are looking at Keone 3 years down the road when he hits the men's open class, because Keone Pearson is filling up that frame pretty damn fast. So the last time he revealed his weight, it was around 228 pounds, which is quite high for a guy like Keone. And he's still pushing, but still look at that waistline and the vacuum. Now I have got to say, as long as Keone keeps his waistline in check, as long as he doesn't ruin his classic lines, he's gonna continue to get more and more dangerous for the men's open class in the future. So as you guys know, I have said this multiple times before, that those guys competing in the 212 class right now, they are kind of very unlucky because they are fighting against a genetic phenomenon who is one of a kind and who is just coming into his own. The way Keone Pearson won the Olympia last year, literally dominated the entire lineup. It was a statement that he is untouchable. So who really is the biggest threat to Keone Pearson right now in the 212? That is Sean Carrida, and is nowhere close to ever beating Keone Pearson again, because of the age, and also because Keone is just so damn good. While Sean, on the other hand, he's at a point where he cannot make any significant improvements. Now, I truly believe that the Olympia 2024 version of Keone Pearson, that would have given any version of Flex Lewis a serious run for his money, and there is just no way Flex Lewis would have stood a chance against Keone Pearson in certain shots, like the front double biceps and also the front lat spread, because of the illusion that Keone is able to create on the stage. And his back also looked mind-blowing last year. He brought that up big time. So I for one cannot wait to see Keone in the men's open class. But it's gonna take maybe another 2 or 3 years. So Hostile just dropped some Sherpa lined zip-up hoodies and Force hooded jackets. So do check them out and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. So how about this physique update from the original beast, Roelly Winkler? So this is him at the age of 47, and normally we would get excited and hype him up that maybe he can think about doing the Masters Olympia. But after Brendan Carey's announcement that he's in for the Masters Olympia this year, but more importantly, after Brendan smacked some of these youngsters who all thought that they're gonna beat him at the Arnold this past weekend, there is just no point of persuading a guy like Roelly Winkler to come out of the retirement and compete for one final time, as Roelly also did not retire on his own terms, because with a guy like Brendan Carey there is just no chance for anybody else. Now Roelly was always a fan favorite, and he would have gotten a standing ovation had he announced his retirement on the Olympia stage back in 2021. I believe that was his last competition, and since then he has gone through shoulder surgeries, and finally now he has been able to move some weights in the gym. And Roelly still looks awesome at this size. So the man has still got those insane arm genetics. Could Roelly's career have been any different if he would have switched from the O2 Gyms Kuwait and Ahmad Askar as his coach to someone else, maybe someone in the US? Well, it's kind of hard to say, as those guys in Kuwait from Camel Crew, they did help him get in the best shape of his life, especially back in 2018 when he placed third at the Olympia, and also when he won the Arnold. But for the most part of his pro career, he was just too focused on chasing size. Just take a look at that young Roelly Winkler from, let's say, 2010 New York Pro. He was small in relative terms, but the man was insanely ripped, and he also had amazing shape. Next up, we have a 3.5 weeks out physique update from Sazan Hiriti. So he's doing this upcoming Detroit Pro. And this is most probably gonna be a supersized version of Sazan Hiriti compared to that physique we saw from him last year. And that was at Emperor Classic Spain, where he placed fourth, behind Michael Crizo, Barros Tabani, and William Bonac. Now, as wild as this sounds, Sazan made his comeback after a gap of 6 years. And all of us who have observed Sazan compete back in 2018, before he stepped away from competitive bodybuilding, we knew that his conditioning, that is gonna be the least of his concerns, the least of his problems, because the man has always been absolutely ripped and peeled on the stage. But he was never the biggest or the freakiest guy on the stage. Put him in the list of bodybuilders who are very balanced, but at the same time with no standout body parts. So last year he did just one show, and he promised his fans that he's gonna come back and bring more size the next time he steps on stage. So he's coming back after almost 1 year, and I'm pretty sure those are quad striations peeking through his trousers, which is just bonkers. So with William Bonac doing this upcoming Detroit Pro, and with his ability to peak 100% for every single show, and that too in multiple shows every year, you cannot expect a guy like Cezanne to possibly win this show. And there isn't just William Bonac. We have James Hollingshead, Carlos Thomas Jr. Both are also doing this show, and they both kind of missed at the Arnold this year. So they must be looking for redemption. Now Sass is gonna match all these guys in terms of conditioning, but will he be big enough to actually take down these guys? So did Derek Lunsford winning this Arnold indirectly also increased Hadi Choopan's chances of maybe reclaiming that throne in October this year? Well, Hadi and Derek, they both are a much better match on the stage compared to a guy like Samson Dauda, who is taller, more aesthetic bodybuilder, and the man who is such a mass monster with such amazing aesthetics. And Hadi just posted this off-season physique update with today's date, assuring that this is the recent one. Well, Hadi is an absolute animal in the gym. Only a few bodybuilders, they can look this big and this lean during the off-season. I mean, the guy has chest striations at the peak of his off-season, which is just totally unmasked. Because the thing is, many Olympians, they do not even have that much detail, that much definition, close to the show, when they are close to being contest ready. So the big question, who is gonna coach Hadi Choopan, or who is currently coaching him? Well, he hasn't talked about this topic since Hani Rembert retired, and it has been months since the Olympia. Well, can Hadi prep all the way for the Olympia on his own? Well, he might, because if we look back at his physique when he wasn't even a pro, he was absolutely shredded even back then. But the Olympia is just a different ballgame, and Hadi in 2024 missed Olympia. He wasn't that far off. He just wasn't as good as he was at the Arnold, Ohio last year. And just the judges, they only judge what's in front of them on the stage. But the thing is, once you set a standard, that will always remain in judges' minds. Now, if Hadi tries to come in bigger for the Olympia this year, that, I'm afraid, won't work against a guy like Samson Dauda. Derek Lunsford beating Samson on the basis of conditioning, that is the way to go for Hadi Choopan, and he needs to go back to that Arnold, Ohio version. Now that this is confirmed, that Sergio Oliva Jr., he is doing the first time ever FIBO Germany, that makes his physique a little more than 5.5 weeks out from that particular show. And you have got to admit that the man looks absolutely huge right now, especially for this particular picture. He's legit big, because everyone who has ever seen Sergio up close in person, they claim that the size on this guy, his width, that is just unbelievable in person. Now, even in the past, there hasn't been any lack of effort in Sergio's part from any of the previous preps that he has done, as the man puts his heart and soul into the prep, particularly this one. As Sergio knows, he is now 40 years old, and time is literally running out for him. Now he promised that his quads are gonna look the best they have ever looked in his career this time, which if it comes to happen, that is gonna be good. And that shows that he's confident about the package that he's about to bring to the stage. Now, I don't know what Sergio's ceiling can be at the Olympia if he qualifies. Most of us are gonna say he isn't a top 10 Olympia material at this point, which is fair, since he hasn't been on the Olympia stage since 2018. But a win right here in Germany, that is gonna be a huge accomplishment, because I expect to see some big names in that show, and that is also gonna be one exciting show. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.